Hi Year 3, welcome to your maths video for Wednesday the 27th of January. So it's a video for you if you've got the Year 3 maths booklet. So let's start by getting ourselves warmed up for some of the questions that you have got today. So in our warm-up today, I want to know how many different ways you can make my number of the day. So my number of the day is 24. Now, there's lots of different ways that we could make 24 using our 4 operations, okay? So, you might have a really simple one, like 23 add 1 equals 24. So that's one way. I've used an addition. The next time, I might try a subtraction. I might this time take away a multiple of 10. So if I'm subtracting a multiple of 10, and I need to add it back on to start off with. So 34 subtract 10 equals 24. Now, I've managed already to make 2 different ways of getting 24. Let's see how many different ways you can make 24 using addition, subtraction and division. I can't wait to see them, so make sure you're sending them in. You might want to pause the video now to have a quick go at that before we start looking at our work for today. Right, we're now going to be moving on then to having a look at what we're doing today. Now we've got some new learning in our books today that we haven't done before. So our learning question today is, can I multiply 3 one-digit numbers? Okay, so you can see here I've got 1, 2, 3 numbers and we're going to multiply them together. Now there is a way to do this where we can break the calculation down, because at first it seems a bit much and we don't really know what we're multiplying, okay? So my top tip is to break up your calculation. So the first thing that I'm going to do to multiply these 3 numbers together, I'm going to cover over the times 3 at the end. And all I'm going to do first is work out 2 times 2. And we know that 2 times 2, ooh, what is it? It's 4. Well done if you got that and shouted it out. So I know 2 times 2 is 4, so I've worked that out. I've broken up the calculation, and all that's left for me to do is times and multiply the answer that I got. So 4, I'm going to multiply it by 3. So 4 times 3 now, okay? So we're going to count either in our 4 times table or our 3 times table. Now I know lots of you are really good at your 3 times table, so let's count in our 3 times table. We want 4 lots of 3. Are you ready? 3, 6, 9, 12, okay? So my answer to 2 times 2 times 3 is 12, okay? Let's have a look at another one. So same again, we've got our 3 one-digit numbers. I've got 4 times 5 times 2. I'm going to break that calculation up. I'm going to cover over the times 2 at the end, and I'm going to start off by working out 4 times 5. Ooh, what do you think 4 times 5 is? Counting your 5s. If you got 20, well done. So I know 4 times 5 is 20. So I've done the first part of that calculation. So now all I need to do is multiply my answer by 2. 20 times 2, we're doubling it. I want 2 lots of 20. And we know 20 add 20 is 40, okay? Right, one final one, because I think you'll be really good at this, Year 3. 2 times 5 times 6. Ooh, who can remember what my first step was and my top tip? If you said to do 2 times 5 first, well done, because we're going to break that calculation up. So 2 times 5, I'm going to work that out first. What's 2 times 5? Have a good think about it. If you said 10, well done. Okay, so I've done the first part of my calculation. So now I need to multiply my answer by 6. 10 times 6, okay? Now you can do this around your work in your book. We've been seeing lots of fabulous working out on your pages in your book to keep track of your calculations. So 10 times 6, can you count in your 10s with me? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So the answer to 2 times 5 times 6 is 60. Now you've got one question that's like this. on your page today it's page 13 today. In your startup challenge, question 2, you've got a similar question to this. And then you've also got, on section B, question 5, you've got it in a word problem too. So we're going to really focus on these questions today because they'll be popping up on different pages in our book from now. So I've got a bit of a challenge for you. I've got the All-Star Challenge. So what I'd like you to do, I'd like you to pause the video right now, and I've got 5 of these questions for you to have a go at in your purple books, okay? So writing out the calculations in your purple books, work out the answers, and don't forget to send us a picture because we love to see your super work year 3. So pause the video now and have a good go at these in your purple book. Okay. Now, when you've completed these in your purple book, we're then going to be moving on to our challenges at the bottom of your page 13. So we've got our Intergear section, and then we're going to be moving on to our tough challenge. So in the Intergear section, have a look at that question. I've got a word question, but it's just the same as what we've already been doing today, our new learning. I've got 2 times 2 times 9. So if I write that out as a calculation, it's just like the calculations we've just been doing. 2 times 2 times 9, okay? So same as before, we're going to break that calculation up. 2 times 2, I'm going to work out the first part first. I'm going to cover over times 9. So 2 times 2, we know that's 4. And then, when we've got our answer, we can multiply the last part of that question to our answer. So 4 times 9, okay? So we're going to count in our 4 times table. Are you ready to count with me? Ready? 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36. Okay. Have a go at that question on your Intergear section. So moving on now, we're then going to be doing lots of different questions in our Intergear section and tough challenge. So you've got a similar question to this. From a dozen, subtract 3, okay? Now a dozen, I always think of eggs. When you get a dozen eggs, that means you've got 12 eggs. So from a dozen, so I know a dozen is 12, I'm going to subtract 3, okay? So make sure, like me, you're underlining the key parts in those word problems to make sure you're solving it correctly. So 12 subtract 3, we know is 9, okay? Right, you've got another fraction question on your Intergear section too. So I've got find 1/3 of 60. Now it's wrote it in words again, but we know that 1/3, we write it as 1/3. We've got our numerator at the top, which is 1, and our denominator at the bottom tells me how many equal parts that's out of. I've got 3 equal parts, and I'm going to find 1/3 of 60. So that means I want to see how many 3's go into 60, okay? Now we know our 3 times table, but we know up to 3 times 12. So this one might be a little bit tricky, but we can use our knowledge of the 3 times table, because if I cover over the 0, I know 3's into 6, I know that goes twice, that's 2. But 60 is 10 times bigger. So I've got to make my answer 10 times bigger, so that's going to be 20. Now remember, you can always use the method where we draw it out. So we've got out of 3 equal parts, so I'm going to get my whole pizza and split it into 3 equal parts. And then you're going to share out your 60 counters equally between these 3 parts. Now that might take you some time because 60 is quite a big number, but remember you can always do it that way if you're struggling to divide by your denominator, because our denominator is for dividing. Okay, so our last part then of your page 13 for today is our tough challenge, and today it is quite a tough challenge because we've got some questions on there that we haven't done before. So the first question that you've got is very similar to mine. 1 kilogram is 1,000 grams. So it gave us some information there. We know 1 kilogram is equivalent, it's equal to 1,000 grams. How many grams is 3 kilograms? Oh, well, if I use this useful information, I know that 1 kilogram is 1,000 grams, so 2 kilograms must be 2,000 grams, so 3 kilograms must be, have you guessed it? 3,000 grams. Okay, so make sure you're using the information that the question has given you. Now, 2C on your tough challenge is quite tricky because it's about time and we haven't yet covered time this year. So you might want to pause the video now and do this question with me, okay? I've got a very similar question to what you have in your books, but I've got my clock here to help us recap about time. So here's my clock. I've got all the numbers starting from 12, going all the way around the clock back to 12. Now, with every number, 5 minutes is passing. So from 12 to the 1, that's 5 minutes. From 1 to 2, that's 5 minutes. So we can count 5 minutes from each number going around the clock. Now, if you have a look at my clock, I've got o'clock at the top and 1/2 at the bottom. Now, all of these blue petals on this side, I've got 5 past, 10 past, 1/4 past, 20 past, 25 past. They're telling me how many minutes are past the hour, okay? So I've got 3 o'clock there. If I change my big hand and placed it facing the 1, that's 5 past 3 now. It's 5 minutes past 3 o'clock, okay? So on this side of my clock, we've got the minutes past. But then as soon as it gets past 1/2 we start counting how many minutes to the next hour, okay? So it'd be how many minutes? I've got 3 o'clock here. If my big hand was on 25 to here, it would be telling me that there's 25 minutes to the next hour, which would be 4 o'clock, okay? So let's have a little look at my question. I've got how many minutes from 3 o'clock to 20 to 4. So this is where you might want to pause the video because my clock here will be able to help you. So I've got a clock ready that's got 3 o'clock on. You might want to draw your time that your question has said as well. So I've got 3 o'clock, I've got my minute hand, my long, that's the big hand, pointing to the 12, we know that's o'clock, and I've got my hour hand pointing to the 3, telling me it's 3 o'clock, okay? Now, how many minutes from 3 o'clock to 20 to 4? Now, 20 to 4 tells me that's 20 minutes until it gets to 4 o'clock. So we know this side is the past, this side is the 2. So if I was counting round 20 minutes to 4, I need to keep counting round my clock until I get to the 8. Because if you have a look, 5, 10, 15, 20, that's 20 minutes until my big hand, my minute hand, would get back to the 12 for 4 o'clock, okay? So what we're going to do, we're going to count around using this clock here to 22. So there's my minute hand. It needs to go all the way around to 22. Let's count. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So it's going to take 40 minutes. It's 40 minutes from 3 o'clock to 22, 4, okay? So like I said, you might want to pause the video now because my picture here will be able to help you work out your question. And don't forget to draw your clock face if that will help you so you can count the minutes. Remember, each number, 5 minutes has passed. We're counting in our 5s, okay? Right. Moving on then to the last question that you've got on your tough challenge section. I've got circle the temperature below, which is equal to 4 times 12. Now, we know what 4 times 12 is, but if we were struggling with our 4 times table, so we didn't know how to count up in our 4s and we'd have to write them all down, Remember, we could just add in a repeated addition 12 4 times, okay? Now, using my knowledge of 12 add 12, I know that 12 add 12 is 24, so that's 24 degrees, okay? And I've got another 12 add 12 here, so that's another 24 degrees. So what could I do with 24 add 24? What do you think I need to do with them? Oh, if you said add them together, well done. And that would be 48, okay? So if you've got a question that's similar to this and you're struggling because the times table is a bit big for you, remember you can just do a repeated addition, okay? So take your time with your work today, Year 3. Don't forget to send in your All-Star Challenge and you are completing the whole of page 13 in your books. Good luck and I'll see you soon.